Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, what you know about benchmark? They're speaking the facts that you wanna hear. They rep a jersey, the vision is clear. Diamonds glisten like a chandelier. You know what I'm here for, like Marshawn Lynch. At clutch time, we do not flinch. Real brothers, we do not switch. Hit home runs with the right pitch. Who run the city? What to do when they hating on you? I feel like Kobe 2010. Taking an L, all I need is a win. Business is business, you know how they go. They clearing the seats, now it's time to grow. Tune in now, gotta be in the know. Showtime, bitch, my about to blow. We know.
Oh man, welcome back to another episode, another installment of the Bitch Mob podcast. We have Duane Morgan back for another episode. Bitch Mob is global now. He's live in France right now. It's nighttime over there. How's everything going on? Again, thank you for hopping on with us. 7 o'clock over there. Like, thanks.
No, definitely, man. Yeah, everything is good, man. You know, I just came out of a practice. You know, it's been one hell of a season, man. You know, I think personally this is like the toughest season for overseas basketball player ever. You know what I mean? Like with this whole COVID thing, it's ridiculous. But you know, we just trying to stay positive and trying to make do with what we have.
With everything going on with COVID, like how has that affected the season? Is it less games? Are y'all kind of like the NBA, y'all having to reschedule or cancel games? Like how's it going over there?
Yo, honestly, it's a mess, man. You know, so one, we have less games. So like normally what they would do is like we have 2 phases and then the playoffs. So like the first phase would be like again, there's like 2 different pools. So like the first pool plays each other twice. Everybody plays each other twice. And then in the second pool does the same thing. And then like the top 5 of each pool play each other in the second phase. And they do like this whole, you know, second phase kind of thing. But basically with COVID, like what we're doing is, what it's looking like we're going to do is scratching the second phase. You know, so we'll only play the first phase of games, and then the back end of the season, we won't even play. So like whoever ends up as the top team will, you know, move up. Whoever's the low team will just move down just based off records, like no playoffs. And the reason why they're doing this is because like the season is getting so prolonged. You know, we have canceled games. Like I think personally, my team had like at least 5 games get canceled because players had caught COVID. You know what I mean? And then once a player on the team gets COVID, you know, they got to be in quarantine for 2 weeks. So like they got to push their season back. You know, at this point, everybody should be around, you know, 17, 18 games in. And some teams only have 13 games because they haven't made up their games yet. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's just a mess. And then we had like a month and a half period in, I think, October and November where we didn't have any games because the country was on lockdown. So we literally couldn't play, you know what I mean? And we would practice every day. And you know how it is as a ball player. Like, you don't want to practice every day with no game. I love to work out, you know what I'm saying? I know you do too. Like, we love working out. We love like being in the gym, but team practice every day with no, you know, no goal. Like, we like to work out with a goal. You know what I'm saying? Like in the middle of the season with no games, like that was tough, man. And in the middle of, you know, after our first 3 games, like that's when it happened. So it's like, you know, this is a tough year, man. It's a tough year. But
bro, that's something different. Just practicing, practicing. Like you said, we used to look forward to like, all right, we got practice today, but we know we got 2 games this week. We loved it. We loved it when we had like 3 games. We was only able to get in 1 practice.
Oh, that's the best. That's the best.
Perfect.
See, but it's cool now because like that's what we're doing now. So like over the next 5 weeks, I think we have about 12 games because like we're making up a lot of the games and we have to do it fast. So we having weeks where we have 3 games. Like now we good now. You know what I'm saying? We have 1 practice and then 1 like walk around or shoot around and then a game. You know what I'm saying? And then 1 day in between the rest, then another game. So like now we in that mode. But man, in November and October, oh man.
I can't imagine. With the season being that way, right? Is there more of an emphasis like for winning? Like it's not a lot of room for error. You said the 2 halves. There's no 2 halves now. It's just straight 18 games and then hey, we getting into it.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. Every team that like has a goal of being like a top 5 team, like they all feel the pressure now. It's like, every game matters. You know what I mean? Like there's no wasted games. Like there's no time to be having down parts of the season. You know what I mean? Like a lot of teams is like stacking up the talent now. You know what I'm saying? You're seeing guys getting signed. Teams is having like 12, 12, 13 players and still getting another, big time player just because they want to, stack the deck in their favor. You know what I mean? So for sure, man, there's a big emphasis on winning. Every game matters. Like, we're kind of, because there's no playoffs, we kind of feeling the pressure now,
With everything that's going on, COVID, the pressure to win, how has that taken a toll on your mental, and how do you keep your mental health like on the up and up?
Hey man, I'm not gonna lie, man. There's been tough times. There's been tough times. Like for instance, like we didn't get we have 2 Americans on my team, and we didn't get to go home. You know what I mean? Because COVID, like they didn't want to take the risk of sending us back to the States and not being able to come back in because the flights were canceled or like the border got closed. So we couldn't go home, and usually for us, like that's our time to hit the reset button mentally. You know what I mean? Like we go home, we see our family, we just, waking up in your bed, like it just feels different. You know what I mean? So like not having that reset button, with the ups and downs of the basketball part, it was tough, man. It was tough. It was tough. And then especially in France too, we have like a 6 p.m. curfew, so we cannot leave our house past 6 p.m. You know what I mean? So like on top of all of that, you got to stay in your house and just watch Netflix. You know what I mean? Like if you're not built the right way, I'm not gonna lie. If you're not built the right way, it's very easy to fall into a depression. You know what I mean? And I can see a lot of players going through that because it's like you don't have that human interaction. You don't have your family. You don't have, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes in the season, you're not playing games. You know what I mean? So you don't have that outlet to like express yourself, you know what I'm saying, physically. So it's like, it's very tough. And for me personally, what I would do is, like, I don't know. I'm the kind of person I can be alone. You know what I mean? I'll listen to audio books or like read a book or, you know what I'm saying, do something to take my mind off of basketball, take my mind off of the fact that I haven't been home. I like to go for walks. You know what I mean? Like just little things that kind of disconnect me, you know what I'm saying, from the pressures and from all that mental stuff. And for me, that works,
Hey, that's what's up. I know that's just as important to the success on the court as the physical aspect. We heard 100%. Kyrie has been outspoken on it. Jersey kid yourself, from Jersey, from West Orange. What was your takes on everything that happened with that Kyrie situation? I just wanted to get your perspective, being that you from the area and everybody had a different perspective on Kyrie and the mental health and him not playing and being outspoken on social issues.
Yeah. The last part of your question I didn't really get because I think the audio was kind of messed up. Could you repeat the last part of your question?
I was saying, what was your perspective on everything that was going on with the Kyrie situation? Yeah,
I mean, for one, like I respect Kyrie so much for like coming out and saying it, because if he's saying it, a whole bunch of players is feeling it, but they just didn't feel comfortable enough to come out and actually say it, So I respect it one for even putting it out there because as men, men don't like to admit, I'm going through mental things, and that's not really like, normally like a manly thing. It's not seen as a manly thing. So for him to come out and say, yo, listen, man, like I ain't right up here. It's a lot going on in the world. It's a lot going on with me. I got to step away. I understand that 100%. You know what I'm saying? Because maybe he felt like if he's not right mentally, then he's not going to perform the way that he wants to on the court, And then if he didn't say nothing and just didn't perform on the court, they would have been on him anyway. Like, oh, Kyrie, why he getting paid this much? He's not performing. But then you saw he come back, he hit that reset button. He came back. He started killing. You know what I mean? So it's like, for me, I respect what he did, man. I respect what he did. And I understand that. You understand it too as a ball player. Like, if we not right up here, it don't matter how much we work out. It don't matter how, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not going to look how we want it to look, So, yeah, no, I respect what he did. I have no problem with what he did, man. And I think, for me, honestly, I think maybe more players should be more open about that. You see some of these big-time stars, like, they're talking about their mental health and, their struggles. You would never think that as an average person, like, thinking that, these guys get paid so much money to play a sport that they have mental health issues, but clearly it's a thing because so many people are saying it, So I think as the trend, continues, guys like Kyrie is trailblazing that kind of thing, I think more people will come out and say it, and I guess work their way on to making that space more better for them mentally.
Yeah, I mean, you alluded to it. The 5 games after that, it was like averaging 37 and 6, like something crazy.
As a coach, I'm taking that, bro. What you need to go home and you come back doing that? Go ahead, bro. You got it. Anytime. I'll take that every time.
Yeah, I think people forget too. Like, it's not the question with Kyrie has never been on the court. Like, on the court, it's no question. We know what he is. It's a straight talent, point guard, shooting guard, whatever position you want to put him at, he's going to do his job on the court. And I think because of him speaking out, you might see something like in the future contracts where they have a clause or something in there like, hey, mental health, if I need to take 2-3 weeks off, like I feel it'll be something in people's contracts coming up because it is so important. And I mean, you think about like everybody puts this, they're getting paid millions. But if you look at a regular job, you get time off, you get paid time off, you get vacation days, but when you in the league, you don't get that. Play all 82, don't take nothing off unless you're on load management. And even then, still come to the game. So I think that's something that we'll see eventually become normalized.
Yeah, but that will be interesting for me because I would want to see how that works out. Like you look at a guy like Kyrie, he can do that. You know what I'm saying? Like he has a lot of leeway. He's proven himself in every type of way possible. I wonder if the 12th man on a team could do the same thing. Because it's like maybe the team will look at it like, oh yeah, you need time off. Okay, go to the G League. We'll call somebody else up, and then now you just lost your spot. You know what I mean? Like, and then would the team be in the wrong for that? You know what I'm saying? I just want to see how that will work out. I think it's a great idea. You know what I mean? But they have to go through that. There's a lot that goes into that because now it's like, if the team does that? Is the team, are they shaming you for having mental health issues? You know what I'm saying? Like you have mental health issues. All right, go ahead. We just gonna throw you away. We just bring somebody else that don't have the mental health issues. You know what I mean? Like I would be really interested to see that, and I will be really interested to see how they work that whole thing out.
Yeah, I think it would be, as you're alluding to, like it's in negotiations. I don't think a team will negotiate with the two-way player to have that in a contract, but a Kyrie, like you said, Kyrie could do that. LeBron could do that. KD, players like that. I think teams will be all the well open to it. Like you just said, if you need to take 2 weeks and you come back 37 and 7, you want another 2 weeks? Like, straight up. Same thing you saw with Dennis Rodman when we watched The Last Dance.
Yeah, right. And maybe that was the blueprint the whole time. Yeah, maybe that was the blueprint the whole time. He came back, did his job,
came back,
got 30 rebounds.
Like, you can't complain with that. For you being in France with all the social justice issues that are still going on, we've talked about it. How is it, as you said, you haven't been able to come home and seeing the things that still happening?
Yeah. Man, it feels like it's a lot harder, man. But at the same time, I feel like I'm doing a good job with staying in tune. I'm doing a good job with following what's going on back home. I'm still reading the good publications from back home. I'm still following activists from back home. So it's like I feel as though I'm still in tune, but you almost feel like there's not really much you can do from over here except use your platform. And me and you spoke about this the last time. It's just like me trying to use my platform as much as possible to bring awareness to it, and then even sometimes I might start a conversation with a French person, or the French people here, they might see what I'm saying, and then it might start a conversation over here. So it's like I'm still trying to find my way and figure out where my part is in that. And but yeah, it's tough being here and seeing what's going on there, man. It's like and it's not stopping. It's like this it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you mentioned going back to Kyrie. Kyrie does a great job of using his platform to talk about what's going on all facets. One of the things that we didn't get into the last time you were here on the Bench Mob was the process with you going overseas. One of the people, like a lot of questions some people were asking, how did you go about choosing your agent to get you over there? Like, what was that process like of choosing an agent?
All right, so initially, like my first agent that got me my first job overseas, I basically did like a showcase, right? I did a showcase when I was in college, and the way that I got in the showcase was that they actually hosted the event at my school. So like when they were asking like my school, you know, oh, can we? Because it was like a big time showcase. They had like all the D1 guys come in, and they was asking my school for the gym because it's like a great location, you know, Long Island, close to the city, you know. So I guess my coach kind of negotiated for me. He was like, yeah, you can use the gym, but you gotta use my player, you know, my best player. And so they was like, okay, cool, we'll use them. And they ended up putting me on their website. And just from there, like I kind of got like interest from agents. You know, they would look at the website and they would look at agents reach out to me like that way initially. So I did the showcase, and then after the showcase, there was one agent that was kind of recruiting me hard, and I kind of just went to him. You know, he was a small fish in the big sea, like in a big agency, you know, but he really believed in me, and you know, we had a great relationship. He thought I could have like a great career overseas, so he kind of that's kind of how I went about getting my first agent. Literally from the showcase, he found me on the website, followed me. You know, he liked what he saw. He liked the stats, and he got me my first job. And then once you're in, you know, once you have your first job, it's kind of like you're gonna get a lot of interest from other agents. You know, just literally, I think the hardest part is getting your foot in that door initially. You know, and because once you're there, you perform, and then you'll have, you know, 10 and 20 different agents hitting you up and wanting to work with you. So yeah, I don't know. I can't speak for the validity of every showcase. You know, sometimes these college showcases are scams, but at the same time, you know, some of them out there, they can be good.
Now that you're over there, you're a staple being overseas. What is it like being an American? Because we hear all the rumors like, all right, the Americans over there are treated like gods and they're expected to come and dominate. They got to average 30. Yeah. How is it being American over there? Like, are those rumors true of being an American at an overseas team?
Yeah, no, I mean, I would say yes and no. Like, in some countries, yeah, like there's, like once you get overseas, you realize that there's different markets, right? So it's like, if you come to a place like, I say like, yeah, you could take France, for example, or like a place like Austria or something. You know, their Americans got to come in. They got to have, you know what I'm saying? You got to come in with big 20-point games. You got to come in and, you know, get 10 rebounds. You have to do something like, you know, literally outstanding. You know what I mean? Like, you literally have to like a nice little 7 points and 6 rebounds. You know what I mean? They're looking for, the American to come in because, you know, they're going to put the ball in your hands. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're going to get the opportunity, you know. But then if you go to a place like Spain, it's like, it's more like systemic. You know, they kind of want you to blend in. Like, what do you do great? Okay, it might not be it. You know, it might not just be scoring. You know, you can make a name for yourself in Spain by rebounding and playing defense, and you'd be like regarded as like a really good American. You know what I mean? They'll be okay with that. Whereas other markets, it's like, all right, yeah, you can rebound, you can play deep, but we kind of need you to, you know what I mean, put the numbers up too. So it's like, it kind of depends on where you go, you know. And then also, like, once you build like a reputation for yourself, that reputation is going to carry you a long way overseas, you know. So if you build your reputation as a scorer, and, you know what I'm saying, you come into one of these countries, they're going to be like, yo, we want to see what, you know what I'm saying, what you build up to be. So reputation matters a lot. But yeah, some teams, some places, yeah, they want you to be the guy. Like I always tell a story when I was in Argentina. You know, as soon as I got off the plane, the assistant coach comes up to me with a clipboard and he says, "Where do you like the ball?" And he says, "Okay, you like the ball here? Okay, we're gonna make up 5 plays for you where you get the ball here and here." I'm like, damn, like for me, that sent a message like, boy, you better produce. You better produce. And I remember like my first, and this is my first year, so my first pro game, I had like a good, 15, and I had like a 15 and 10, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that game because it was my first pro free throw that I took. I airballed it. I airballed my first pro free throw. I'm like, yo, maybe this ain't for me. I'm at the line thinking like, yo, maybe this ain't for me. But that was like my first shot. And so, but I finished the game with 15 and 10, and it was cool. Like everybody was, happy and chill. Next game I came back, had like 14 and 9. It was cool. Everything was good. And then the third game I had like 20, 22 and maybe 22 and 10. And then the president, he comes up to me, puts his arm around me. Oh, Duane, you good? Like, start asking if I need anything. Like, what I'm saying? Now he's treating me differently because I just put that 20 piece up. But if I was, just chilling in the teams, and I would, it would be like, oh yeah, he's a good player. But then now when you come in and you do that, then it's like, okay, you can have whatever you want, Duane. You need to ride practice tomorrow. How you gonna practice? Oh, you did. Your apartment is good. You need anything? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's kind of like that too, man.
Wow, hey, we all just need it. We are the same mindset. Like true ballers, they just want that opportunity. You got the opportunity. Sure. You put the work in, and you just show out. Sure. Speaking of living quarters, like how is it when it comes to the living aspect? You have your own house. You got an apartment. How is it set up?
Yeah, I mean, for me, like in my career, I've lived in a hotel room. Literally a hotel room, which wasn't a bad deal because, you had a chef that lived downstairs, and they could pretty much cook for you whatever you want, whenever you want. Like you go down in the middle of the day, yeah, I think I want a steak. Oh, you want steak? Okay, boom. So that it's not as bad as that sounds. Living in a hotel, and they come and clean your room every day. Like it's actually a pretty good deal. I've lived in a flat, with this is what Spain likes to do. Spain likes to put you in like an apartment building with like 4 other guys. You know what I mean? So you in one apartment building with like 4 dudes that's like 6'6", 6'7". You might live in a 7-footer, and it's like, it's good because like you build good relationships. But do you really want to be living with, with 4 other guys? Like that could be tough. And you build great relationships, but it's also like little things like, okay, like who gets the bathroom first in the morning? You know what I mean? Like you really have to think about things like that. So so that's what I've lived in those type of situations. I've lived in like a big house when I was playing in England. They put us like maybe 5 players and 4 players and an assistant coach, and they put us in this big house in Manchester, England. And it was cool because like every person pretty much had their own floor, and we had our own bathrooms. Like it was spacious. Nobody was kind of in anybody's way. So I guess that was cool. But now I just have like my own apartment.
Yeah, I don't know about that one in Spain. That's sound like college dorm life again.
Yeah, really.
Hey,
big college energy, man.
So, going into the physical aspect in regards to your physical health, what do you do to maintain your physical health, and what's your diet like? You're obviously still young. You haven't hit your 30s or your 40s yet. So, do it really affect you at this point, what you eat, like, or you can still eat whatever and go ball out?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I'm blessed. Like I'm still in that phase where I can kind of eat whatever, but at the same time, I do feel slightly different when I do eat the right way. So like in season, like I try to do the right things and stay away from sugars. I try to cook most of my meals. I try to limit the amount of times that I order out. I try to do the good things. I drink a lot of water. Make sure my protein intake is high. I take like certain drinks after practice. Just the little things that I can give myself an advantage with. But I must say, like sometimes I do slack off because I know I don't feel that much different when I play, and you know what I mean, after like a bad meal. So it's like, but I know that's not gonna last forever because I play with a lot of veterans, and they tell me like, yo, I have to eat straight pasta and chicken every day, or if I'm not gonna function how I want to. So, and I understand that I'm getting a little bit older, so I'm gonna have to tighten up my diet a little bit more. But at the same time, it's not that, to me, it's not that big of a deal. But like physically, I try to do a lot of stretching, like every day, I'm stretching before practice in my house. I'm stretching after practice in my house. Like I'm just trying to do like all the little things that can add on years and on my career. Like my coach in Spain used to always say like, "Oh, Duane, more stretch, more basket," and like, he would always tell me, "Make sure you stretch, stretch, stretch." And so I try to do those things. And the weight room, I have to stay in the weight room. This season, like one of the things that a lot of people don't talk about with this season, the COVID thing, it's affecting a lot of stuff on the court and off the court. My gym's been closed since November. Like in France, there's no gym that's open. So it's like the gym that I'm usually going to and staying, staying strong with, that's been taken away from me. So it's like I have to do like overcompensate with like calisthenics, and like low weight stuff that we have like weights in my club, but it's like it's not the same. It's not the same weight room. I can't really bench how I want to bench. Sometimes, I want to bench heavy. I want to squat heavy. And it's like those little things I haven't been able to do this year, but traditionally, yeah, I'm staying in the gym, just maintaining my strength that I built up over the summer, And that's another thing, like we're overseas, like for me, I'll speak for me personally, like my diet is much more strict and my training is much more rigorous in off season. Like I tend to get like a little bit more comfortable in the season because we're playing games. It's like everything's happening fast. But in the off season, when all you have to do is train, it's like you eating perfectly. You know what I mean? Like your body is like ripped up. You know what I mean? Like you're adding so much mass, and it's like everything is more. It's more on point for me in the summertime. And then when you get over here, it's a little bit easier to, you know what? I'm a little bit lazy. Sometimes you get in from practice at like 10 o'clock. And you're like, yo, it's 10 o'clock. I don't really want to cook a whole meal that might take, you know what I mean, an hour, 2 hours to cook. And now I'm eating by 12 and I'm in bed by, 1. And so, sometimes it is easy to just call Domino's or call whatever fast food place is open to get a quick meal, So, yeah, those kind of things you see in the season that you won't really see in off season. But,
what's a good meal for you?
So, I mean, I cook a lot. So, I'll say a good lunch and a good dinner. So for me, a good lunch would be pasta and shrimp. That's like my goal. That's been my go-to lately. I do a little pasta and shrimp meal, and then I guess for dinner, I cook a lot of chicken. Sometimes I might make some curry chicken, stew chicken. I still cook. I'm Jamaican, so I still gotta make my Jamaican food. As much as I can. I jerk some chicken. And I just eat it with rice and a lot of vegetables, and I try to stay away from the sugars, but sometimes I might drink some juice with it. Never soda or anything, but get some juice with that, and yeah.
Ain't no wrong with some apple juice. Apple juice is cool.
Right.
So you mentioned weightlifting and being in the weight room. For our younger players and even as players our age that still have this like this notion that weightlifting messes up your shot, it messes up you on the court. For you said you're in the weight room. What would you say towards that? Like, how do you balance that out? Like, it's upper body and you gotta get up jump shots. Like, how do you balance that out?
Yeah, well, as far as balance, for sure, what you just said, hit them weights and shoot right after so it doesn't affect your jump shot. But every player needs to get in the weight room, like that. To me, that's not debatable, because if you want to play at the highest level, if you just even look at the highest level, guys' bodies is different. I was just having this conversation with one of my teammates the other day. He was telling me like, yeah, Duane, Andre Iguodala, he doesn't lift heavy. I said, Andre Iguodala is 220 pounds. He's 6'6". Like, he doesn't need to add mass. Yeah, he needs to work on his flexibility because he's already got the mass. You know what I mean? Like, these young players, like, you don't have the mass yet. And, if you want to play at these high levels, the game is physical, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm 6'6", 210 around there, and I'm like a 3. Like, I'm on the wing. Like, in college, or, in my division, I was a 4-man, and, sometimes I might guard a 5 sometimes. Here, like I can't, these 5 men are 270. These 4s are, everybody is strong. You know what I mean? That's the point I'm trying to make. So it's like you have to hit the weight room. I think in off season, like especially this past off season, like one of the things I wanted to do was add mass. you know. And every day that I would lift heavy, I would just shoot everything out, shoot it out. And for me, I don't think it affected my jump shot that much. You know, if you're working on straight strength and no flexibility, then yeah, I can see it affecting your jump shot. You know, because you're gonna be stiff when you get into your shot. But I think everybody needs a weight room. As long as you just do it the right way. You know.
Yeah.
Once you go to college, they're gonna put you in that weight room. You have no choice. They're gonna put you in that weight room. You know what I mean? And like, so why not get a head start if you're in high school? Why not get a head start?
Yeah, like you just mentioned, it's about doing it the right way. For you, you're a slimmer guard. For people that are of the slimmer build, right? So you look at, for example, Giannis. Giannis comes back, says he puts on 15 pounds of muscle, but he still is slim. How, in your opinion, in your experience, how are you able to put mass on and still be slim and keep your flexibility, but that's actual still building, strength?
Yeah, I mean, for me, what I realized is, strength is Giannis is strong. You know, he's slim, but he's strong. So it's like, I'm lifting to get strong. Do I want to get bigger? Yeah. But like you said, like I might not have the muscle, the DNA to get wide like this, So, but for me, I feel strong for my size. You know, a guy that's a little bit, that might look like he's a little bit bigger than me. He might not be stronger than me. You know what I mean? So it's like, as long as you're lifting the right ways, you're going to add strength. And that's one of the things that I was trying to do this past off season. So it's like, yeah, I might not be one of them guys that walk around with shoulders looking like PJ Tucker. But you can't just push me around like how you think you can just based off of my physical appearance. Like when Giannis gets when he's going, and guys don't just push him off his mark. Like he's sturdy with it. He'll get to the rim how he wants to get there. Guys ain't just pushing him around. And I think KD is the same way. People, KD is strong. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just wiry strong. Like when KD goes for a finish, like guys ain't just pushing him around, and he ain't just like flimsy falling on the floor every time he's going for a finish. No, he's banging on guys. He's getting there. He's getting to where he wants to get. And you can't do that if you're not strong. So I think he has a very strong core. Like he is one of them guys that's like, they real strong here, and maybe his arms is flimsy, but I don't think you just pushing him around, So it's like, yeah, I think just lifting for strength, not necessarily for the looks. We're not bodybuilders. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of the things that people have to realize. Like you're never gonna see me in the gym curling 200 pounds. Like that does nothing for my game. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm not trying to look like that anyway, but as long as I'm strong and guys ain't just throwing me around or, you know what I mean, getting me off my mark, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I think people sometimes, in general, get confused by the frame. The frame may seem slim, but the person is strong. You mentioned they have a strong core, or a lot of their muscle mass is in their legs, and then being able to hold their base, and you can't just post them up. Like you see some guards like that's under 6 feet or 6'1", 6'2", and are on the block, boom, posting. Or Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday is not the biggest looking guy, but we've seen practices this year alone where he's able to uphold Giannis. The dude's strong.
Yeah.
So strong core, and I know those legs is different. Look at Saquon. Yeah. Those legs is different.
Man, Saquon. Saquon is that. Hey, let me ask you a question because this is something that I have, debates about all the time. Do you think NBA, what group of athletes do you think is the best group of athletes in the world? NBA or NFL players? Overall, just overall athletes.
I'd have to say NFL. It's a few couple of NBA players that could play in the league for the NFL, but you see mad NFL players that really could play in the NBA. They got the hops, they got the strength, they got the footwork. If they just get, the fundamentals down or whatever, and they go to the court, they already got the physical tools. They straight.
Yeah.
They good. All the wide receivers, tight ends. The goalpost is 10 feet. They clearing that with no problem.
And they windmilling. Some people out there.
Yo, and the thing is, it's everybody from the 5'8" slot wide receiver to the 6'7". I mean, just think about it. You 6'7", 320 on the offensive line, and you moving like that. We ever see when they had a sweep and you see the big guards coming out.
Yeah, and they move.
That's a different type of athleticism. 6'7", 320, and you moving like that way. You don't see that in the NBA. I don't think Shaq could move at that.
No.
You feel what I'm saying? Like Rudy Gobert could move like that. It's very rare. That's why when you get the centers or the people like Zion, that's a freak of nature. When you get people like that, that's 6'8", 260, 270, but his neck is above the rim. Oh, you're different.
Right. But then when we get a Zion like that in the NBA, it's like, oh my God, this guy is ridiculous. But then if Zion, like you could probably find 6 Zions in the NFL right now, like on one team. You know what I'm saying? Like I saw Myles Garrett posted a video of him playing ball the other day. Like,
know the video.
Like what? I'm like, yo, what did I just watch? This guy is 6'6", 290. You know what I'm saying? Moving like he literally moved like a bigger version of Zion. Like, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. I agree with you 100%. NFL players, to me, is the cream of the crop as far as athlete goes.
Like you just said, that's a defensive lineman. Like,
not even a skill position.
Exactly, bruh. Those edge rushers, I feel bad. This completely sidebar, but I feel bad for Russell Wilson. J.J. Watt now is on the Cardinals. Like, how many of them jokers you got to see? That's twice a year he got to deal with J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones. Then you got the other teams, bruh.
You think Russ is gonna be a Seahawk next year or this coming season?
It's so tough with the NFL because it's not like the NBA where you can really flex your way out and go to a different team. I think he's going to be a Seahawk again. His main issue, I don't even think he want to leave. He just said, yo, can y'all get some people to block for me, bro? Like, if you look at his career, since he's been in the league, he's been sacked the most over like the last 5 years or something crazy like that. So I think he would want to stay. It's just he ain't got no blockers. And he's not your 6'4", 6'5" quarterback. He started off the season MVP Russell Wilson. Right. And then ended off the season. You feel me? So I think he's going to stay. I mean, that's where the NFL is different from the NBA. You could look at James Harden. Bro, it's not really working for me no more. I want out. He's out. Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
He might have to sit out. He might have to sit out the year. If he really want to get out, he might have to sit out a year, give up the bread, and not play because,
which is crazy.
That's what's different in the NFL and the NBA. NBA, the players have so much freedom, leeway to do what they want. Yeah, they've been doing it for years. Yo, I want out.
So, and sometimes, I think as an athlete, okay, I respect it. Yeah, you want out and you force your way out. But I like, for instance, James Harden, I didn't really agree with how he went out. You know what I mean? Like the overall, like what he wanted to do. All right, cool. Like, yeah, I respect it. You feel as though you can't win there. You want to, you know what I'm saying? You want to go somewhere that you can win. But I don't know if I agree with the way he went about it. Like, to me, he kind of did the most to get out of there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. It's one of those things, man. Which way is better? The NFL has so much structure. They have so much discipline. It's like, this is how we're doing it. It's a system. The NBA is more like everybody can kind of do what they want. It's like so much leeway. But then you can get a case where a guy is literally like, yo, F this, man. I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? I ain't coming to training camp. Like, yeah, you guys pay my bills, but, F you. I don't want to play with you no more. New coach, then black coach, there was so much going on in that situation. Like, is that the best way to do it? But then again, in the NBA, you can literally do whatever you want. Like Adam Silver lets those guys, just kind of do their thing, which is like great, you know what I'm saying? But it's a catch-22 because you are going to get that. And, you are representing a league at the end of the day. So when I see James Harden, being buddy-buddy with a little baby while his team is grinding it out in training camp and they doing honey bun exchanges and, you know what I'm saying? It's like, man, that's kind of weird, man. Like, you do represent the NBA. At the end of the day, you are a face of a organization. So it's like I don't know.
Yeah, with that, it's like we talk about that all the time. Like, does Deshaun Watson have to do that same thing to get out?
Right.
Like, maybe we don't know what behind closed doors. Maybe, like, you feel me, Harton tried to go about it the right way, and he felt that was his only option.
Yeah.
I agree, though. That was the first thing I said. Like, all right, kudos. He's on Brooklyn. Yeah, they're a championship contender now, but outside of that, how he went about it, though, like, yes, we already know his talent, all that. Brooklyn, they might be going to the finals. Cool, great. But the way he went about that, like the last interview, throwing the teammates under the bus, like, yo, we're not good enough to win. Like, that gave me flashbacks. Rest in peace, Kobe, when this Joker was like, yo, these niggas is soft as sharp.
Man.
That part, if you want to come at the organization, cool, but
I agree.
John Wall ain't deserve that. Boogie ain't deserve that.
No,
Eric
and
Gordon.
They just got there, man. They definitely didn't deserve that.
Eric Gordon's been on your team for the last 3-4 years. You talking about Eric Gordon, Daniel House, PJ Tucker,
right?
But that's like you said. That's the NBA. It's kind of like it's a free for all. It's a jail where they just do whatever they want to do.
Literally.
And the thing I said with this, though, it's like, yo, him doing that, AD getting out of the Pelicans when he wanted to get out.
Yeah.
I think you see this next year coming up when they do the renegotiations for the CBA, you're going to see owners try to, hey, we got to talk about this. Y'all just can't be doing this. And I think that's where it's going to hurt. You could be a James Harden, Anthony Davis, and do that, but other players now, they're going to try to put something in their contracts and negotiate. Like, you can't just force your way out. The owners ain't rocking with that.
And to be honest, if I was an owner, like, I would be pissed, man. Like, what do you mean? We got so close. We did so much great things, James. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would be pissed, man. If I got to look on every time I look on the internet, I see you, doing something crazy, and I'm thinking you just, taking time for your mental health or something, and you over here with little baby and talking shit about my organization. Like, I would be pissed, man. You can't just do that to me. But I guess catch-22.
Yeah, like you said, it's a catch-22. Like, I like it on the aspect of Kyrie being able to do something for his mental health, but then you got the whole flip other side where James Harden forces his way out and literally burns all of Houston on the way out. That's where it's like it's a bad look. It's like where owners, again, they might not want to give players that much freedom when it comes to this next negotiation of the CBA deal. I really feel they're going to bring this up when that comes up.
I think that's a great point, man. I think that's a great point. Yeah.
And that freedom is great, but then, hey, it might affect the 11th, 12th player if they change something in the contracts. James Harden, you're straight. Anthony Davis, you're straight. Brian, you're straight. Rest of us can't do that, bruh.
Yeah.
Rest of us, we need every single check. We can't do that.
For sure.
Speaking of the NBA, though, one of the things where it seems like they might have got it wrong in this aspect, they're having an all-star game with everything going on. You have players pushing back from Bron to Giannis. What's your thoughts on the NBA actually having all-star game and the whole format? They're trying to do all of this in one day. Skills contest, dunk contest. All of this in one day in Atlanta, and want players not to do anything. Just go to your hotel, come to the game, and then fly back home. The likelihood in Atlanta being wide open.
Right. Yeah.
You want NBA players to go down there. Don't do anything. We don't want to come anyway. We rather have a vacation.
Right.
Nothing?
Yeah. See, no, they're doing a little bit too much, man. And for me, just thinking about it in like a historical context, like there has never not been an all-star game. Like, like the all-star game actually does mean something, not only to the players, but to the fans. Like, could you imagine if we went through a whole year and we didn't have the all-star game? Like, even just like the topics, like, when the all-star starters come out, who should have been on the team? Like, it does so much for, us as fans. Like, I couldn't imagine us not having the game. You know what I mean? It's like, we kind of need that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a break for the season. You know, all like the fantasy matchups in your head, you can see it in real life. Like, we kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I saw like last year's All-Star game, I see LeBron and Joel Embiid going at it in the post. Like, that's cool to me. Like, I'm not gonna see that in the regular season. And you got KD behind them, and you know what I'm saying, Kawhi on the wing. Like, that's fire for me. So I couldn't see a scenario. I wouldn't want a scenario that we don't have the All-Star game. Now, the way they do it, yeah, you guys are being a little bit extreme now. You know, it's like, it's almost like the nice teacher that has a bad class that let them do everything, and then one day she come in and say, no, y'all gonna sit down and y'all gonna do y'all work today. You know what I mean? It's like you kind of let these guys do whatever they want, and then for the All-Star game, you're gonna say, oh yeah, well I want you to do this, and that. I don't think the players are gonna follow it. I don't like how they set it up, but I do like that they are trying to have the All-Star game. You know, as a player, but I could see if I was a player, you know, maybe I wouldn't want to do it, you know, but as a fan, like, it does mean a lot.
Yeah, as a fan, shoot, our next episode tonight, we talking about the skills challenge, 3-point contest, dunk contest.
See,
it's great as a fan, but you actually get paid to do this. I can't imagine as a player like LeBron, the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler, Bam, they didn't get on the squad, but you barely had 2-3 weeks, maybe a month after the finals ends, you hop back in the season, and then y'all want us to have an All-Star game. And of course, players like LeBron, he's not going to take off the All-Star game because he knows the importance of, again, the fans. Imagine having an All-Star game and LeBron didn't play. That would just...
Yeah.
And again, it's a business, so I get it.
That wouldn't feel right.
It's a business, so I get it. The NBA, that's a lot of money they would lose out not having the All-Star game. They are doing good things too, also with, like, you know, donating. I think it was something on the lines of, last I saw, like 20-30 million towards HBCU. So there's some other other things that's coming good out of it. Like, they're using the day to kind of like promote HBCUs and things like that. So there's some good that's coming out of it. I just think it's tough for those players that Lakers or Miami or Nuggets that were making those deep playoff runs.
100%. And you know, and to me, you know, from a player standpoint, the players in like our generation, I don't think they have that big of a problem with it, because it's like, you know, we're young anyway. It's like, yeah, okay, you know, little recovery time. It's one extra day I have to go and, you know, fly into Atlanta. But you kind of up for it at 26, 27, 28, you know? Now, coming from LeBron's point of view, yeah, I can understand, man. It's like one, you know what I'm saying, one more game and one more travel route, you know what I mean? So I can understand from his point of view. But I think the guys, you know, our generation, I don't think they have that big of a problem. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe everybody hates the idea. But, you know, we, at the end of the day, it is basketball and we all love to hoop. Like, you know.
Yeah, it's different. We just had an open gym at Roosevelt over the weekend. And I think we was there for like 2 hours. And dude's like, yo, I'm tired. We done. One of my boys was like, yo, we used to be at the JCC for like 8 hours a day. Like, we used to go there from morning. Jokers would go to Masterpiece and get a slice, come back to the gym for another 4 hours. Be like, yo, times have changed, bro.
No,
like,
100%.
Some people, our generation, really don't. It's sad, but some people don't love the game like that anymore. Like you, I'm pretty sure you had to say Roosevelt being at the park. You would be at the park for 8-9 hours.
100%. 100%.
Not thinking about being 100%. Hungry, nothing. No. You just had your water, your Gatorade, and you be straight for 9 hours. Yeah. Jokers be hungry afterwards, but you just balling.
Yeah.
This year, you know, the duck contest. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, like, I think that is what like separates some countries. You know, like certain countries kind of stand out from the others. You know, because it's like you said, Americans, as at least our generation, as kids growing up, we are out there, you know, doing extra. Like, we practiced, we did all the good things, but we stayed extra, and we really loved the game, and like we really put a lot of time into the game. And now you got countries like, for example, Serbia, right? And they, like, the way that they love the game too, because, you know, all these great Serbian players, it's no coincidence all these great Serbian players are coming into the league and having big impacts right away. all these Eastern Europe, they do like extreme things. Like I've heard stories of like players can't leave the gym until they make, 70 out of 83s. And they'll literally like buy you lunch and say like, you can sleep here. You just can't leave the gym until you make your mark. You know what I mean? Like they have crazy stories like that. And they always doing going the extra mile. So like this surge of these, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, Goran Dragic, like this isn't like, a lucky thing. Like, oh, it just happened to no, these guys are really like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they really put in a lot of time and they do like above and beyond, Then you got these other countries that's like, good players and maybe one or two players might be making it to the NBA, but they don't go that extra mile. Like they don't do that 8-hour JCC day, you know what I mean, on a regular, and just normal for them.
That's so true. Speaking of the young players, dunk contest this year has none of the stars. You got Anthony Simmons, Cassius Stanley, Obi Toppin. Are you interested in the dunk contest? We've seen over years that is the mystique of it has gone down. And when you don't have players like a LeBron or a Zion, who was rumored to do it, but came out and said he wasn't going to do it. Are you interested in the dunk contest when it's not the stars here?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why, man. We in a day and age where people are professional dunkers now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like back in the day where only the elite basketball players could do the crazy dunk. These guys might be more creative than Zion. Now, are they? I don't know. Maybe Obi might have a chance, but like there's a chance. Like it's possible. It's possible that a guy that's like towards the end of the league, like for instance, remember the player from the Knicks that won the dunk contest. His name was White, I think, something White. Like back in the day, this is like an old, maybe like the 2009, 2010 era. James White. And he was like a finalist in the dunk contest. Nobody knew who he was, but his dunks were like ridiculous. The things that he was doing was ridiculous. Like he would go from the free throw line between legs. Like LeBron couldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? LeBron was a superior superstar player, but he can't do that. So for me, like these players might be on that next level. Like Dennis Smith Jr. I don't watch Dennis Smith Jr. Like I don't watch him on tape. I don't, follow his career as a basketball player. But if it's dunking, I want to see what he could do. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like Obi Toppin is a guy like that too. Like where it's like, when he was in college, do you see this man in college? Obi Toppin, he was doing East days on fast breaks. Like you must bounce. You have to have the confidence to do an East day on a fast break in a like real college game. Like I would love to see him, you know what I mean, compete in that arena. So the star power would be great, yes. But at the same time, dunking has evolved to a whole nother level now. Like I would pay money to see some of these Instagram dunkers, like in real life. I would pay literally money to see one of these guys go at it with each other. Because the things that they're doing now is completely different. Like the game has changed now. It's not the regular dunk contest, man.
Yo,
like
I think
Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon weren't stars before the dunk contest. They weren't stars. You know what I'm saying? Zach LaVine was like a budding. You could see like flashes. Aaron Gordon, we just looked at him as he had bounce. Like they weren't big guys, but the dunk contest helped them get to stardom, I believe. Like, I don't think we look at Zach LaVine the same if he didn't have that historical dunk contest run. You know what I'm saying? Like that, a lot of that had to do with like what he is now, and especially with confidence too. Maybe after that, he might feel like, damn, I'm on top of the world. Like now I got 1 million followers on the gram. Everybody knows my name now. Like I could really go now. I have the confidence to really take my game to the next level. That could have been in play too.
Yeah, you mentioned Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon. That's the thing where specifically them, for example, smaller market teams. Everybody don't see Zach LaVine every night. You feel me? Everybody not seeing Aaron. They don't get that many televised games. So you're on this stage now, and now you have people that may let me see how he actually ball. Let me go watch a Chicago Bulls game and see how Zach LaVine is doing. Let me go watch the Orlando Magic and see how Aaron Gordon plays as a basketball player. Now that I know he jumps out the gym. So
exactly.
I think that could be a good thing. 2 more before we transition with the quickness. So I propose this as a new way to do the All-Star game because a lot of people, again, the All-Star snubs and why they keep having centers in it and this, that, and the third.
Oh, man.
Cool.
That's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. But all right, go ahead, man.
So I was thinking, all right, so if everybody got these issues, why don't they expand it to, let's say, 15 players total, right? Each team has 15 players. It'll be 30 players total. You still have, for example, this year, LeBron, KD, they draft their teams. You bring 12 to the game, it's 13. You bring 13 to the game, 2 don't suit up, but you get to be able to say, I was an all-star. So for the most entertaining aspect, let's say this year, Vucevic is doing his thing in Orlando, 20 and 13 every night. But not that many people might want to see him in the All-Star game, especially in how it's evolved. The only true centers really that get touches and get busy is a Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis, who's not really a center, a Nikola Jokic.
Right.
Maybe you do something like that. So then you could get whoever your snub is. Maybe they get drafted to actually play. Yeah. But everybody still gets their all-star label.
Yeah. Yeah, but then are we still gonna have the snub conversation with the guys that didn't make the 15, you know?
I think that conversation is gonna be there regardless. But like people was mentioning, for example, it was like before Devin Booker got off and got on because of AD being injured. I personally would like to see a Devin Booker over a Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, okay.
You feel me? So like Rudy Gobert makes the team.
Yeah.
But you just come to the game, you can watch.
Yeah.
Devin Booker suits up. You feel me? Like maybe it's something like that. Just because.
Right. See, now I had, and you brought up Devin Booker, so I'll get into my Devin Booker point. It's like, okay, we know what he's done, right? He scored 70 at the Boston Garden. Like that's all you need to say about Devin Booker. And hats off to him at any point in his career. But you know, Rudy Gobert had a game this year where he went almost 30 and 30. You know what I'm saying? Like he is clearly the best defensive big man in the league. Like he is clearly like one of the most important players on the number one team in the league. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, who would I take off? You said you would take off Rudy. I can't see me taking off anybody for Devin Booker to get in. You know, like is he a great player? Yeah, but you can like for me, I watch a lot of Phoenix. He's the second most important player on his team, and his team is not a top 5 team in the league. Like, but he is like clearly he's number 2. Not saying he's the second scoring option because obviously he's the real bucket, but like Chris Paul came to that organization and changed everything, bro. Like they wasn't doing that last year. You know what I'm saying? Like they wasn't in playoffs. They couldn't even sniff playoffs before Chris Paul came in. So it's like clearly, you know, he's the reason that, you know what I mean? Like you guys all playing the same. He's the one that came in and changed everything. So I would say here, second best, you know, people said Paul George. Like Paul George is shooting 50, 50, 90. And his team is number 2 in the West. Like, no, I don't think anybody's ever shot 50, 50, 90 for a whole season. If you can keep it up, like that's, come on, man. You know, hats off to you, man. That's different. That you're in a whole different conversation with 50, 50, 90. So it's like, I don't know who, and Zion is 6'6". He might be the most dominant player in the league at 6'6". I can't make a case for Devin Booker, bro. I cannot see Devin, you know what I'm saying?
I agree. I wouldn't make a case for him. I'm just thinking on the entertainment aspect. When it first popped off, I had no problems with the West squad. Devin Booker shouldn't be there. Like people in the East, Trae Young. I don't think Trae Young should have been there. Like people was like, yo, Trae Young should take Ben Simmons' spot. Are y'all drunk? Ben Simmons,
must be
just
drunk.
because Ben Simmons doesn't shoot 53s a game.
Right.
Yeah, again, one of our OGs that was on the show, he's like, you can't talk basketball to everybody. Because I'm like, Ben Simmons, all right, he doesn't shoot threes, his game isn't flashy. But the man is arguably in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. He sets up that whole offense. He's basically a 6'9", 6'10" point forward. But y'all want to say Trae Young over Ben Simmons?
And the best team in the East. I don't understand it, man. I don't understand it. You gotta be the only, like, you just like to see people shoot 100 threes. You don't like winning basketball. Like, I don't understand that either, man. I really don't understand it.
Yeah, like I said, the only reason I can agree with any of it is entertainment aspect because it's going to be more
Yeah,
entertaining. But I think that's what I was saying. Like, if you leave it, which I think is great, they do the draft that way. LeBron
yeah,
and KD know winning basketball. Some of
yeah.
y'all favorite players still might not get picked up.
Right,
I'm
right.
picking Rudy Gobert because I still need defense. So
Yeah.
you feel me?
Yeah,
But
seriously, seriously. Then Giannis passed up on James Harden last year. Like James Harden he might have been an MVP last year. He's getting picked towards the middle of the pack. So yeah, people want to play winning basketball no matter what.
exactly. Last one before we transition. If you had to choose a player that you think is comparable or mirrors your game in the NBA, who would be that player? Like,
Mm. Man, that's a good question, man. Um, who? I mean, who would mirror my game? Um, huh. I mean, I'll start by telling you who I watched the most of this past summer. Like I watched a lot of he's not in the league right now, but I watched a lot of Grant Hill. You know, I watched a lot of Grant Hill over the summer, and I just like how he was so effective. Um, you know, getting to the basket. He did everything right, man. And he didn't shoot the three that well. Could he hit it? Yeah, he could hit it, but he didn't rely on that 3-point shot. But he had a nice pull up. He had a nice right to left crossover, and nice spin move in the paint. Like he was just so solid. Nothing jumped off the page. I feel like that was a lot of stuff that I like to do, and a lot of stuff that I want to do too. I mean, Grant Hill for me, that's like an ideal situation. Like, yeah, I think he was I would say somebody that I would want to compare myself to. Prime Grant Hill, prime Grant Hill. And he was explosive too, man. He was explosive. I feel like I guess another reason why I liked him too is that he was one of those guys, like he built his game around his body type. Like he's not one of these guys that like just work on anything. Like and Jordan probably was like the prime example of this. It's like that's how you make a great player. Like Jordan he knew he had the fastest first step probably ever. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody can stay in front of Jordan. 2 years he literally built his game off jab because he can set. He can literally set up everything off that jab set. And then once you get, we start jabbing, now that pull up is wide open for you. And he literally, I feel like he literally built his game around his like biggest asset, that athleticism, explosiveness, first step, and that's what I feel. That's what I feel like Grant Hill did. Grant Hill has a fast first step. He worked on that first step with a live ball. What I'm saying? His crossover right to left and then that explosion right there, like that gave a lot of people a lot of problems. So and obviously Steph Curry too. If you're not the biggest guy, it's like the simplest concept. If you're not the biggest guy, why don't you work on shooting from far away from the from the hoop, and why don't you work on your handles? I think and this goes into like the younger generation too. Like kids have to realize what they are. I don't want to see a 6'1" guard that's working on all types of finishing with contact around the rim, because you're going up against at certain levels, you're gonna be going up against like real big guys. Like the chances of you living in that paint, you might live in the paint in high school, but you can't really live in the paint forever. Like as you go up, the paint, it gets real clogged. So, the smaller guards should be working on jump shots, floaters, handle. You shouldn't be working on just every and anything. And so that's kind of how I like to work. I see what am I good at? I'm explosive, got a quick first step, and I kind of just build around that. I feel like that's what Grant Hill did. So yeah, that's my long answer for Grant Hill.
real quick before we transition, something you mentioned that I don't want to overlooked. You mentioned you watched a lot of film on Grant Hill this summer. How do you translate what you watch in film to what you do on the court?
Oh man, I think for me it's practice. You know, literally, like I would just like take clips and screenshot them, and then go to the gym. And in the middle of my workout, I would go back to my phone and literally like, okay, this, and I would make sure I film myself too. I think that's a big thing that every player should do. You know, film your workout, because that's how you know your progression. You might think you're killing the move. You might think you're doing the move perfectly. Then you watch the film like, oh damn, that was a little sloppy. You know, like, that's not getting by in the game. So just practice. You know, whatever you see on film, bring it to practice, and then literally you'll build the habits that you want to build, and that translates to the game naturally. You know, and also like watching the film mentally, like just having that image in your head. I think you know, that plays a big part in the game too. So yeah, I would say watch it, practice it, then watch yourself practicing it, you know what I mean? And then practice it some more, and then, you know, get reps when you're doing live action, and then, you know, it'll come into the game naturally.
Good advice right there.
Yeah.
Transition.
And also, one last thing, you just also you can't, and sometimes you see this a lot in high school, like you can't be scared to try things, you know, like sometimes you know, you have to have the guts to try it in the game, because you might fail the first 2 times, but it's like, you know, you have to try the things at some point. You know, you can't just be the perfect player in the workouts, and then, you know, when you get to the game, you know how to do it, but you don't do it because it's like, oh, I'm not comfortable. So the only way you can get comfortable is by doing it in the game. Like, you have to actually just do it, you know?
Yeah, that's key. Katie mentioned this in his doc. He did wake up, work out, go play some type of ball, work out, go play ball again. So he was saying when he would play, like especially summertime, if I go play summer ball, this is where I can get the creativity out and try these new things that I'm working on in the gym. So then when I get back to the league, it's natural. So what you're saying is spot on. Like, especially again for like high school. All right, you worked on this new move. Before you come back next season, open runs, outside on the court, try the different things. So then when you come to practice, you come to that next season, it's already in the game naturally. I just think, you feel me, that would be the most effective way, because then it's like, all right, for high school players or college players, you're coming back into the season with this in your bag now. There's no transition. I already worked on this all summer. I tried it out. Boom. I know where it works. I know where it doesn't work. I know, all right, this defender comes up here. I know the counter move. Boom, boom. Now we in the season, live games and everything count. My bag deeper, and I ain't got to worry about the transition.
For sure.
With the quickness segment, start off with this first one. What's in your musical rotation on game day?
On game day, I have Gunna in there. I have a dancehall artist named Skilly Bang. Skilly Bang, he's in there. I got Pooh Shiesty. I like his energy right now. You know, I love his energy right now. And then literally, I have a lot of, you know, 90s hip hop, you know, old school, not old school, but some older hip hop songs too. Like for instance, like the last game, I was listening to the soul tapes, you know, Bab soul tapes. Sometimes I just need to hear, you know what I mean? Need to hear that kind of energy, you know. But then sometimes I might need the Pooh Shiesty, because that's like the new energy. So I guess it depends on the day.
Yeah, I think best example, West Orange High, we might have on club music one day.
Man.
Next day we might have on Wheezy. It might be Gucci. It's all depending on the day and that type of energy. Like for me, especially when I've heard like Russell Westbrook say this and other players, sometimes they don't listen to more of the hype up energy music because they already got that energy in them. Like a Russell Westbrook don't need to get, you feel me? I don't need to get hyped. I'm already here. You see him dancing before it. He already hyped, he already there. So sometimes depending like on the mood, like if you need to pick me up, you might turn on the Pooh Shiesty. But if you just I need to, mellow out before the game, you might turn on the soul tapes where it's bars and it's something different.
Yeah. I like listening to this soul tape because it's like I just needed to, you know what I'm saying? The soul tape for me was like, I'm a grown man, sit down and I'm gonna talk to you. You know what I'm saying? That was the energy that I needed to go into the game. Like, hey, listen, I'm about to talk to y'all boys. I'm gonna have to talk to y'all. You know what I'm saying? School, like pretty much school y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like that type of energy sometimes. Like, cause like Rick Ross do that for me too. Rick Ross was like, yo, I'm a grown man. I'm on a different level than y'all. You know what I'm saying? And let me talk to you. And like sometimes that's how I feel too. Let me talk to you real quick. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get in that bag before I play sometimes, man. For real.
Yeah, you gotta put yourself in that position, in that mindset. Like you said, Ross is good for that. And it's like that famous line that Jay-Z says, like, when I come back wearing the 4-5, it ain't to play games with you. It's to aim at you. Like
it's the aim L. See, and I listen to Hove every day on game day. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know how I forgot to say Hove, but I listen to Hove he is the epitome of what I just said. I'm not here to play games with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm on a different level than y'all. Let me just talk to you real quick. I'm on a whole different level. But I need the energy, man.
Yeah, that puts you in a different mindset of the aggression that needs to come into that game. Yeah. Right now, I know you over in France, but the city, the energy is live in New York with Brooklyn being a winning team and the Knicks for the first time since like 2012 are two games over Knicks, 500. Like, is Tibbs the front runner for Coach of the Year in your opinion?
Dang. As much as I want to say, like, for me, if I had to vote, I would vote for Tibbs just because I like the Knicks. But no, I would say, is Snyder the coach of all? Yeah. I would say Quinn Snyder. You know what he's done. You know, he literally turned everything around. I mean, the Knicks is a great story. Like, don't get me wrong. And for me, like, New York will always be a Knicks town. You know, the Nets used to be in Jersey. Like, we was growing up as Jersey Nets fans. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the Knicks, like, that's New York. Like, when the Knicks do good, like, things just feel better. You know what I mean? Like, James Harden is in Brooklyn right now, and it feels cool. But you just feel good about the Knicks. Like, let's go, man. We here. Like, you know what I'm saying? We winning games. We were above 500. Looking at the playoffs. The Knicks in the playoffs. Like, you know how, like, that just feels good. It just feels right. You know what I'm saying? For the Nets, it's cool. Yeah, you know, they got their thing going on, too. But you know how it is. This is the Knicks, man. You know, you got Madison Square Garden. That Madison Square Garden hit different. You know what I'm saying? When you get out of Penn Station, and you just look up and you see the Garden right there, it's like, oh, shit. You get a little chills off the rip. Like, it's different, man. So, yeah, I'll maybe Tibbs, yeah, okay, maybe he's in the conversation, top 3 for sure. But front runner, I wouldn't say just yet.
Yeah, I mean, we're only halfway through the season, but the fact that he has them right now, last I checked, they're number 4 seed in the East right now, which if he could keep them in that range of a top 4 team, and if Quinn Snyder doesn't finish as the number 1 seed, and you see like right now with Phoenix's win last night, they're number 2. If you can see a Phoenix, LA, and the Clippers move up, if they go on a little losing streak, you might see Tibbs pulling out that Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Nobody expected. I mean, a lot of people still talking about the Knicks being in the lottery again.
Like, what a great story. You know, like, what a great. I think you're right. If Utah, you know, they slide, and then the Western dynamics get changed up a little bit. Yeah, okay, I can see, you know, people making a big case for Quinn, man. No, sorry, for
Tibbs.
For Tibbs. Yeah, I can see that, man. You're right about that. Yeah, you're right about that.
Energy is something different, and it's going to get crazier when they have full capacity. New York is going to be. New York is going to be.
Come on, man.
Different. Bobby Shmurda's home. Rowdy Rebels home.
Come on, man.
The energy is.
It's different right now. It's different right now.
Fact. Yesterday was the first time the Knicks lost since Smurder came home. So.
Yo, I love that. That's a stat. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope SportsCenter posted that as a stat because that's fire.
Hey, Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic?
Yo, that is tough. That's tough. I mean, at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to preference, man. You know, I'm gonna have to say, you might not like this, but I'm gonna have to go with Yoke, man. I have to go with Yoke. I mean, Yoke is just like he brings the ball up, you know, like you give the ball to Joel anywhere on the court and he's good. Like he, you know what I'm saying? He can make it happen. But like Yoke literally, like he'll do that for you. You know what I'm saying? Like you can do that for him too, but he'll do that for you too. Like, all right, you go here and I'll get you the ball where you need it too. Like he has an extra dynamic to his game. And on top of that, like he is dominant back to the basket too. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you look at how many ways he affects the game. Like he literally affects the game in almost every way possible. Besides, you know, defensively, it's a little bit more difficult for him. But I saw he's top 5 in steals too, man. You know, so his hands are active at least. You know, but yeah, that takes nothing away from Joel, man. I think Joel is like, I think he's a wizard back to the basket. Like he literally, his face-up game is, you know, evolved. Like this guy's doing step backs. He's 7'2", 300 pounds. You know what I'm saying? His step back jumper is like, it's ridiculous what he's able to do. But at the same time, man, Jokic is, I've seen Jokic have some big games, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jokic, big game.
Jokic is overall the more complete player. He brings, like you said, he brings so much to the game. It's not his fault where Denver is at. He's doing his job. It's not his fault. And like you said, it's preference and what you need for your team and what you what you want to do or build around said player.
Yeah.
Because earlier, what was it, last week, Embiid did an in and out crossover step back.
Like, come on, man. Like
he looked like a guard. It was smooth.
That's unfair. Like that's literally unfair. You know, like that
smooth.
Is. Oh my God.
He was back to the basket, faced up. Let me do this. In and out. Step back. I said, wait, hold up. That's a guard move right there. Yeah. That's Harden's bag. Like this Joker is 7'2". I was like, yeah.
See,
not different.
Now, the only question that I would have for Embiid is, you know, is that stoppable in the playoffs? Like, you know, when a team has a game plan for you and you have to beat them 4 times, like, can you know, what happens if you just double him and triple or double him every time? Like, what does his game look like? Because nobody's doubling him in the regular season. You know, it's like the Giannis thing, like where everybody just lets you go ahead, go crazy. You know what I'm saying? You can have 50 on me, go ahead. It's regular season. Nobody cares. Nobody's game planning for you. You know, but when you lock in on that deep in the playoffs, you know, now what does it look like? Now when Ben Simmons' man is not even looking at him, he is literally on your back too. You know, now what does that look like? Like you can't really do that to Jokic because like he brings the ball up, you know. So it's like, okay, you could get it out of his hands early, but like he'll give it to a guard that, you know what I'm saying, and reposition himself, and you know, you have to guard somebody, you know what I'm saying? So I think I would have questions about, can he do this in playoffs too?
I think that's where, for Philly specifically, I think that's why they added Seth Curry. They added different shooters so it stays spacing, even with, you know, Ben Simmons not being the best 3-point shooter. It's going to be hard if Joel Embiid is able to pass out of those double teams. Like you said, playoff time comes, it's probably going to be double teams. It's whether or not, we've seen this all the time with big men, how comfortable are they passing out of that double team? Like, are they going to still be effective? And is it going to be a on-point pass to the wide open person? Or are you going to know, hey, so that Seth Curry man coming, Seth is going to be open. So we'll see. I don't think when it comes to that with Jokic, you don't have that problem because he's a
No. And see, now, like the cool thing about Jokic too is and why I choose him is because like we've seen him in the playoffs have big games. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we've seen him get his team out the trenches in the playoffs on a few occasions. You know what I'm saying? Just last year, like they came from the trenches, man. Like what playoff series has Joel Embiid like stamped his name in? You know what I'm saying? Like where F this, I'm not losing. You know, and you know I can't really think of one. You know, but we've seen that out of Yoke already. You know, so it's like until you do that, you know, it's almost like with the Devin Booker thing. Like, yeah, you crazy, you nice, you know, but how do you look in the playoffs? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you look when you know there's something at stake here? You know, like Paul George looked great. You know what I'm saying? For most of his career, he had 2 bad playoff series, and now everybody's like, oh, Paul George is ass and this and that. Like, man, it looked like he had a great career. You know what I'm saying? Like he's shooting 50, 50, 90 right now. Like, who's to say that Devin Booker doesn't look like how Paul George looked in those 2 bad series? We don't know that yet. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I have a hard time fighting for a Devin Booker or a Joel Embiid when it's like, dude, you know, even Giannis too. Like Giannis, man, you're supposed to be one of the best players in the league, man. You gotta, you know, take over some series, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, do something. Stamp your name in something. I don't remember name one playoff moment that you remember from Giannis. I don't remember a playoff moment. You know, I don't remember like anything big that happened. I don't remember him doing anything like crazy in the playoffs. You know, I remember that from Jamal Murray. I remember that from Jokic. You know, I remember that from Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic, this first time in the playoffs, he went crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like
almost got the Clippers out of there.
He almost got the Clippers out of there, man. And they would I think the number 1 seed. Like that's a moment, man. Like, you know, some of these guys, then they don't have no moments. Man. They, you know, regular season guys, and you know, you kind of got to prove that.
I think with Paul George, we talked about this on the show. I think with him, what people aren't really factoring in, if you really pay attention to Paul George, since that injury, he does not go into the paint as much. Mm-hmm. And I think subconsciously, or whatever the case may be, and he mentioned also mental health for himself, is why his game has changed. If you watch the games now, he's 50-59. Yeah. A lot of those shots are contested, fadeaways, 3 points. He's more relying on the jump shot and not getting to the paint enough. Like, everybody made a big deal. They lost to the Bucks. Something that we pointed out, which was appalling, he had 0 free throw attempts. You look at the top scorers, and he's 50-50-90. I think right now only gets to the free throw line maybe 5-6 times a game. Imagine if he's able to get to the line on a Harden level of 8, 9, 10. Damian Lillard, 8, 9, 10. You talking about Paul George leading the league in points.
Yeah.
And I think that makes a whole different dynamic. So I think, honestly, that's the thing with Paul George. It's the mental health aspect, and he don't get enough easy baskets. Yeah. And they also, Clippers, which is a whole other discussion, they ain't put a point guard there that could really help get the easy baskets for them. You see the fact that we had to see Chauncey Billups pull Reggie Jackson aside multiple times this season, like, yo, don't shoot. Give the ball to Kawhi in this position.
Yeah. See, all right. So now let me defend the Clippers organization here by saying this. You know, you look at guys like what those guys in Boston, Tatum and Brown. Mm-hmm. You know, Kemba is a great fit for them. But when Kemba doesn't play, they don't need a point guard because those are 2 ball dominant guys that can kind of figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the Clippers were thinking like, why would we need a point guard? You know what I'm saying? We have the best 3-man, both, you know what I'm saying, 2-way 3-man, and one of the best scoring 2 guards. Why do we need a point guard? You know what I'm saying? So I think like for them, I don't think that was the point of emphasis because you guys should be having the ball most of the time anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't we just run this through y'all? But then, okay, Kawhi is not that level of creator, and Paul George is in his own, you know, I don't think he wants to create. So that's when, but like, it's not all on the organization. Like, we thought you guys would be something different. You know what I'm saying? Like, them boys in Boston, they don't need Kemba. Kemba is a great piece for them, but it's not like, oh, if Kemba is not here, we fall apart. Nah, they rocked out with Marcus Smart, and they could win like that. You know what I'm saying? When Terry Rozier was there, they was winning like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, y'all don't have a PG, but we should need a PG. Y'all, LeBron don't need a PG. We never said that about LeBron. Like, oh, LeBron doesn't have a great point. Nobody ever said that. He's having the ball the whole game. He is the PG.
Like you just mentioned, I think that's the thing. Is like Kawhi isn't the facilitator really. He's going to do scoring. He's going to play defense. Same thing with PG-13. So, like I've heard, I don't think it's going to happen. I've heard names thrown around like Terry Rozier. Coming to the Clippers. I think that would work. He's not averaging, 9, 10, 11 assists. But now, as you mentioned with the Celtics, that's another scoring option. So it becomes a little bit easier. The Clippers have a nice core, but outside of Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Lou Will, who really is creating their own shot on that team?
No, nobody.
You feel me? So maybe
who takes the last shot for that team? LA.
Well, how Paul George playing, I got to give it to Paul George. How he playing, I'm putting the hands in to Paul George.
I agree.
I feel Kawhi had, a couple proven moments, big shots in that series in Toronto, but I'm giving it to Paul George, and that's where I think maybe you add a Terry Rozier, because it's like, when you got no disrespect to Pat Bev plays his role. I'm a defender. I might hit that corner three, and then that's about it. That end of the game type moments, even with Lou Will on the court, is somebody on that court with the Clippers that the defense isn't worried about.
Yeah. See now, all right. Let me ask you this. Because I think it's the same case in Milwaukee too. Like, who takes the last shot for Milwaukee? Is it Drew? Is it Chris Middleton? I know it ain't Giannis. You know what I'm saying? But so now here is why we have to give guys like LeBron. We gotta look at them differently, because if Kyrie took the last shot, LeBron didn't give a damn, bro. If you make it, I'm good. We won. I'm straight. If Dwayne Wade took the last shot and we make it, we won. He's good. He's the other guy. I don't know how Kawhi reacts if the coach says, all right, PG, you got to take the last shot. I don't know if Kawhi is good with that. Giannis, I know Giannis is not good with the play being drawn up for Drew Holiday. Giannis is going to be, in the back of his mind, I'm like, damn, the media is going to kill me for this one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if I should be, they probably think I should shoot. Because he's taking pull-up jump shots for the game. Like, didn't he take a pull-up game winner? Like, what do you say? What? You know what that is. That's just him mentally saying, like, yo, this is my team. I'm taking every last shot. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's crazy?
Look at
that play that you mentioned, I think he either came out or the coach came out afterwards, and the play was drawn up for Chris Middleton. But the defense knew, and they had like two guys on him. So Giannis had to take that shot. And I think I agree completely. Mentally, he didn't mind taking the shot, because it's like, they are killing. They kill Giannis.
Yeah.
They kill Ben Simmons for not shooting, for not being able to take the big shots.
Yeah.
In regards to Milwaukee, I don't know with that. That's where's my concern. Like, who is shooting that shot? Chris Middleton? Are we really playoff time? Are we really depending on Chris Middleton as your closer? Is that proven?
Yeah. And the playoff is about closing games. Like, you have to close games. So you can't just be, you know what I'm saying, out there. Like, I think that's why LA didn't, like, close out their series. Like, who was closing them games out? You know what I'm saying? Like, who was doing it? LeBron closed out every game for when LA was, you know what I'm saying, the game was tight. He either took the shot or he gave somebody a good opportunity to take a really good shot. You know what I mean? And AD hit some big shots too. But it's like they close them games out. Like, even Luka was closing games out. He's like, man, give me this shit. I'm about to close it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need guys like that. Like, who is doing that on these teams? And how far can you get? Brooklyn has 3 of those guys, man. Like, I can't see a team in the East beating, like, even Philly. Like, how are you gonna beat them 4 times? If the game is close, they have 3 guys that can close that thing out, man.
I said it when it happened. I said this would probably be the first year, I think, if they want to, easily all could average 25. Easy.
Yeah, I think so too.
And that's the last thing before we get you out of here. But that's the thing that you just mentioned. Is the player going to be okay with it? You look at the Lakers situation back in the day. Everybody knew Shaq for the first 3.5 quarters is going to Shaq. Those last 4 minutes, put it in Kobe's hand and close it out.
Right.
Is a Kawhi going to be okay with that? is Giannis going to be okay with that? Hey, yo, the best option for us to win, go get your 30, 15, and 11. The last 2 minutes is in Jrue Holiday's hand.
Right.
Are they okay with that?
And Jrue Holiday is a playoff player. I remember him having big moments in New Orleans. He's a player. He is solidified.
Same thing.
Know what
he had AD. It was AD first 3.5 quarters.
Right.
And then close it out. Right. Lakers, AD. We're riding you for the first 3.5 quarters. LeBron, he's going to close it out. But because you got to look at it differently, LeBron is just such a genius IQ player.
Yep.
I don't have to close it out how y'all want me to close it out. I could close it out. The last 3 minutes, I had 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. And I made sure I put AD in the position to get the game with a bucket like. That's where he's different.
It's levels, man. Yeah, it's levels, man.
Last one before we get you out of here. 3 songs that exemplify your life story.
Damn. I gotta go with a 50 Cent song, at least one of them. You know, 50 might have been my first album I ever bought, you know. So with 50, 50 might have been like my real introduction to like hip hop. Because before that I was pretty much raised on like reggae and dancehall. At 50, I would say maybe patiently waiting, 50 and patiently waiting. You know, I think that the title is self-explanatory. You know, I would say I gotta get a yeah, it's a really good question, man. It's a really good question. I gotta get a Biggie song because me and Biggie have a lot of similarities, man. First off, we was born in the same hospital. Second off, you know, we was born to the same situation as far as like our parents both coming from Jamaica. And then, you know, when they came up here, they had similar jobs and, you know, we moved into similar neighborhoods. So I gotta get a Biggie song in there.
Look at that, we getting exclusives here. I ain't know y'all was born in the same hospital.
Yeah. Now we born in the same hospital, man. We born in the same hospital. Biggie and Jay-Z, I love the dough, you know, because this not that I'm a flashy guy, nothing like that, but at the same time, you know, there's a sense of glamour that came along with his lifestyle that I like, you know what I'm saying? And you know, that's inspiring for me. You know what I mean? Like enjoying the finer things in life, and you know, there's nothing wrong with doing that. You know, I love the dough. Like I love this shit. Like you know what I'm saying? I work hard for my stuff and shit, man. You know, sometimes you want to be acknowledged for that. And for the third one, I would say I gotta get a reggae song in here. My life story. I would say dang.
Yeah, it's different. You gotta think about it. It's different.
Yeah.
Especially with how much you love music.
Yeah,
I know your library is deep. At least 5, 10. So
Honestly, man.
and then you just mentioned reggae,
Honestly.
and that's what you grew up
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Good luck choosing one.
Right. It's like good luck choosing one. And then also like I'm trying to think of like it gotta be something that because for me, like I think that the music that stands out to you is stuff that resonate with your life story off rip. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm just trying to think of like my standout songs that like stood out to me when I was young. Because when I heard these songs, something in it told me that yo, this is your song. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I know it has to be a song that my dad was playing back in the day. You know what I'm saying? When we just chilling in the kitchen or something. That was my every time it came on, like yo, it's my it's my shit. Damn, what? It gotta be something. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with. Damn, man. See, now I wasn't gonna get funny and go beating my girls and sugar, you know, but because I mean, you know, if you want to be honest, you know, that song did resonate with me too. Now, you know, always been okay. Always been okay in that department. I'll go with that. I'll go with that. And you know that song it embodies you know it kind of goes in with the I love the dough, like that lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes when you work hard and you know girls see that in you, you know, they see something in you and they acknowledge it, you know. So I'll go with that. Beanie Man Girls Them Sugar. Yeah. But that's like a funny one. But, you know, I'll just go with that. I'll go with
For
that.
sure. I mean, you check off a lot of shorties list. Above 6 feet, light skin, long hair, beard that actually connects. We ain't worried about that department.
Yeah.
Hey, Wayne, appreciate you hopping on again. This will be available on all streaming platforms. Appreciate all of our followers, listeners, subscribers. Y'all know the vibes. If you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. Bench Mob, be out. Peace.
Yeah, appreciate you for having me too, man. I love doing the show, man. You know, hopefully I'll get a third invite someday.
Yo, don't even act. Why are you trying to be funny? Hopefully.